Okay, so morning students. Okay, so in the previous class, in the last class, we have discussed about the dielectric boundary condition for the Maxwell's equation of the electric field intensity. Okay. Wait. Okay, so electric field intensity equation, that is the previous, the first equation, that is the closed line integral of E dot dl is 0. Okay, so we have discussed about this particular, we have taken this particular Maxwell's equation to find the boundary condition for the dielectric medium. Okay, so we have concluded that the tangential component of the electric field intensity are equal at the boundary for a dielectric medium. Okay, there is the boundaries. Okay, but the tangential component of the electric flux density are not equal. Now we will be applying the second equation. Okay, this equation, Maxwell's equation, that is the closed surface integral of electric flux density is equals to the charge enclosed. So we will apply this particular equation on this particular dielectric boundary. So suppose let me draw in a fair way this particular diagram, this figure 1.b. Okay, so just like the previous one, here also we have a particular we can say two dielectric mediums are there. Okay, so this is the suppose the entire space. Okay, and we have the separation, this is separation boundary. Okay, now this first one, it is medium number 1, it is medium 2. Okay, it is having permittivity epsilon 1, is having permittivity epsilon 2. Okay, now here we have an electric field intensity E, which is summation of the tangential component and the normal component. Okay, so this is E1, electric field intensity of medium 1. This is the tangential component, this is the normal component. Okay, these are the vectors. Similarly, here we have, so we will be dealing with, we will not be dealing with the electric field intensity, we will deal with the electric flux density. Okay, we will deal with the electric flux density. So D1, okay, electric flux density, it is divided into two components, that is the tangential component and the normal component. Okay, similarly the second medium is also made up of it is also having an electric flux density, and it is divided into tangential component and normal component. Okay, this is D2, this is D2T, and this is D2N. Now we will consider a particular Gaussian surface. Gaussian surface means where the surface we will apply the Gauss law. Okay, so first of all we will be drawing a cylinder like this. Okay, as if this cylinder is just placed at the center of the cylinder is at the boundary. So first half is on the means the upper portion is in medium number 1 and lower portion is medium number 2. Okay, now it is not visible, I think it is delta S and delta H. Okay, so this has a surface area, this surface area, okay, it is surface area is delta S. So this surface and this surface area will be same, and the height is delta H, similar to the rectangle. Now this is the half portion, this is the another half portion, so this is delta H by 2, this is also delta H by 2. Sorry. Okay. Now we will apply this particular equation, that is closed surface integral of d dot ds equals to q, the charge enclosed. That means we will assume that at the center there is a charge. At the center there is a charge. There is a charge and the fluxes are coming out. Now the thing is, the fluxes will be coming out of the top surface. Okay, I think this is visible. Okay, it is coming out of the top surface and bottom surface. The fluxes are coming out. Psi. Okay, so now the thing is, okay, so on the Gaussian surface we will apply that allowing H tends to 0, delta H tends to 0. So that means no fluxes are coming out from the side. Okay, so all the fluxes are coming out from the top and bottom. So as we know that the flux which is coming out from the top and bottom, okay, so that means the fluxes which are coming out, psi. So psi is nothing but the total flux. Okay, now flux density means flux per area. Okay, flux density is the flux per area. Now since flux is equals to the charge itself, so flux density is nothing but charge density. Okay, surface charge density, you can write. Now the thing is that if we consider the total surface, okay, the total charge which is inside the particular surface, suppose this one Q. Okay, Q is the total charge. If I consider that the Q is actually equals to, it is equals to the amount of charge which is present is equals to charge density into surface area, that is Q, because surface charge density into surface area, it is Q. Okay, so then we can write Q is equals to rho s into delta S by delta S. Okay, that means it is equals to rho s. So D is equals to rho s, isn't it? D is equals to rho s. Okay, we can write in this way. I am repeating once again. See, flux is nothing but the charge enclosed. So total charge is Q. So fluxes are coming out. It is psi. So psi is equals to Q. Now flux density means, electric flux density is psi by area. So flux per area. Since flux is equals to charge, so you can write charge by area. Okay. So charge per area is nothing but the surface charge density. Because surface charge density into area gives you charge. So charge per area is nothing but surface charge density. That means electric flux density is equals to the electric charge density. Same thing. Because if flux is equals to charge, then flux per area equals to charge per area will give you, obviously, because this particular electric flux density is equals to the surface charge density. Okay, this is obviously understood. Now the fluxes which are coming out, they are coming out from the top and bottom. This is to be noted. They are coming out from the top and bottom. No fluxes are coming out from this side. So if the fluxes are coming out from the bottom, then the flux density, which one we will consider? We will consider this component, the normal component. So the fluxes which are coming out from the top, it is because of the flux density D1N. Okay, so we will write in this way that the fluxes which are coming out, or you can say the rho s, this one, this equation. So this equation, that is D is equals to rho s. D means the total flux density. So for medium number 1, the normal component of medium number 1 is the flux, that is the flux density of the normal component of flux density in medium number 1 is responsible for the flux coming out from the top, and normal component of the flux density of the medium number 2 is responsible for the flux coming out from the bottom. Okay, but since the direction of the flux which is coming out from the top is from up to down to up, and this particular vector is also from down to upward direction, so it will be positive. Okay, in this case the direction of the vector is from bottom to upwards, but the fluxes are coming out from up to down, top to bottom, so opposite direction. Okay, so that means this flux will be opposite, because if this is d2n, then this will be minus d2n. The fluxes which are coming out are actually minus d2n, so it is minus d2n. Okay, so that is why it is written over here that the normal component of the electric flux density of medium number 1 minus the normal component of the electric flux density medium number 2 is equals to the surface charge density or free charge density. Okay, now it should be borne in mind that equation number 8 is based on the assumption that D is directed from region 2 to region 1. Okay, and equation number 8 must be applied accordingly. If no free charges exist at the interface, that means suppose at the boundary, that means with boundary no charges are existing. Okay, at the boundary no charges are existing. Suppose say at the boundary there is no charge, only charge is, the Q is over here, suppose the boundary there is no charge, suppose. So that means this rho s will be 0, assuming that there is no charge in the boundary, so rho s is 0. This equation becomes d1n minus d2n equals to 0. So d1n equals to d2n. So this is one conclusion. So actual conclusion is that in existence of charge we can write this, but in non-existence of charge in the boundary we can write d1n equals to d2n. So thus the normal component of D is continuous across the interface, that is dn undergoes no change at the boundary, provided conditions applied that there is no charge at the boundary. Okay, so this is our conclusion. So in the previous case, for the using this Maxwell's equation, we have concluded that the tangential component of the electric field intensity are equal, but the tangential component of electric flux density are not equal. Okay, now using the second equation of Maxwell's component and Maxwell's equation, we have concluded that the normal component of D is equal. Okay, because tangential component of D is not equal, but normal component of D is equal, but tangential component of E is equal. But let us see whether the normal component of E will be equal or not. It won't be equal because D is equals to epsilon E. So D1n equals to D2n. So you can write epsilon 1 E1n equals to epsilon 2 D2n E2n, because this is the continuation of this equation D1n equals to D2n, which we have concluded right now. So replacing this D equals to epsilon E, D1n becomes epsilon 1 E1n equals to epsilon 2 E2n, because epsilon 1, because in medium number 1 we are having permittivity epsilon 1, in medium 2 we are having permittivity epsilon 2, showing that the normal component of E is discontinuous at the boundary, so it is not equal. So that is why it is not continuous. So equations 6 and 8 and 9 are collectively referred to as the boundary conditions. Okay, they must be satisfied by an electric field at the boundary separating two different dielectrics. Not in 9, 6, 8, 9 and 10. All these 4 equations. Okay, so these are the boundary conditions. Okay, 6, 7. Okay, it is told that 6, 8, 9. 6, 8 and 9. Okay, so these are the main boundary conditions, 6, 8, 9. Okay, so 8, why? Because if charge exists, so we will use this equation. If no charges exist at the boundary, we will use this equation. Okay, as mentioned earlier, the boundary conditions are usually applied in the finding the electric field at one side of the boundary given the field on the other side. That means if electric field is given in one side and we know that on the other side there is a dielectric medium, and we know the permittivity of the dielectric medium, then we can calculate the electric field intensity of the other medium also, because tangential component electric field are equal and normal component of electric flux density are equal. So from there we can calculate. Besides this, we can use the boundary conditions to determine the refraction of the electric field across the interface. So we can calculate the refraction. How? Let us see. Consider D1 or E1 and D2 or E2 making angle theta 1 theta 2 with the normal to the interface as illustrated in figure 2. Okay, this is once again a dark picture. I will just highlight this part because the lower medium 2 is visible. Okay, I just highlighting over here. See, this is E1. Okay, this is E1. Okay, now this one is D1. This is D1. So this one will be the tangential component of E1. Okay, and this one will be normal component of E1. Okay, if the so this is E1 only. If I take suppose, okay, if I take the entire length, this entire length, so entire length is D1, suppose D1, total one is D1, because we know that D is equals to epsilon 1, D1 is E1. So assuming that if you multiply this, D1 is bigger, but epsilon is very small number, so just considering it as a variable, we are just representing in this way that E1 जो है वो छोटा है, D1 बड़ा है, multiply करके, ठीक है? तो क्योंकि E1 और D1 will both lie in the same direction because this is a constant, so E1 is in this vector, so D1 will also be in the vector will be in the same direction. So the tangential component of D1 will also be along this direction, and normal component of D1 will also be along this direction. Okay, suppose this is one normal line. This line is a normal line. Okay, this is a normal line, and this E1 and D1 are both in the same phase, so they are making an angle theta 1 with the normal, suppose. Okay, theta 1 is the angle with the normal, and this coming to medium 2. Now talking about medium 2. Medium 2 has electric field intensity of this length, this much, from here to here. From here to here. Okay, electric field intensity. So normal component will be this one, and tangential will be along the horizontal, this one. D will be bigger one, D2. This one is totally is D2. This is D2T, tangential component. This is normal component. And this is also, since this is touching the normal, so this angle is theta 2, suppose. So both are having a different angle. So theta 1 is not equals to theta 2 because epsilon 1 is not equals to epsilon 2. So there is some refraction. Okay, there is some refraction. So if they are making this angle, so we can write E1 sine theta 1 equals to E1t, because as we know that the tangential component, we have already concluded, ये हमको already conclusion मिला है कि tangential component of electric field intensity same होता है, ठीक है? अब tangential component मतलब के अगर इसको गौर से देखो, ये वाला, तो ये अगर थीटा 1 है और ये दो पैरेलल लाइन है, that means this green color, this normal line and D1n are parallel to each other. So that means if this is theta 1, so this will also be theta 1. Now if this is theta 1, so if I consider it as a right angle triangle, इसको right angle triangle की तरह देखे, ठीक है, ये है D1n, सॉरी ये है एक मिनट, हाँ अगर ओके इसे जाने से, इसके यहाँ जाने से पहले और एक चीज, ये एंगल भी होगा थीटा 1 because these two are parallel, this two and this two are parallel, both of them are parallel, so all the three are parallel to each other, so this angle will be theta 1 and theta 1. So if I take this small angle, a small triangle, this triangle only, okay, if I take this triangle smaller one, so ये है हमारा E1, ये है ET1 और ये है E1n, ओके, T1 और 1T whatever, ये एंगल है हमारा थीटा 1, तो मतलब इसको अगर रोटेट करे तो ये आ गया बेस, ठीक है, ये आ गया परपेंडिकुलर, ये आ गया हाइपोटेन्यूज, okay. So tangential component, so this is nothing but E1 sin theta 1, परपेंडिकुलर है ना, और ये होगा E1 cos theta 1. सिमिलरली अगर ये थीटा 1 है, ये है D1 है, दिस इज D1t tangential component, this is normal component, so D1t can be also written similar to this one as D1 sin theta 1 and D1n as D1 cos theta 1, ये वाला बेस में है जैसा ये है, so there is a network issue, okay, so because the internet connection has gone. Okay, so there was a power cut, so the internet connection has gone, so I've just connected now with the hotspot, okay. Okay, so just the thing which I was just explaining, so from here we can write that this one, taking this right angle triangle, so E1n is equals to E1 cos theta 1 and E1t is equals to E1 sin theta 1. Okay, so tangential components are equal, so we can write E1t equals to E2t, okay, so E1t is equals to E1 sin theta 1, E2t is E2 sin theta 3, so E1 sin theta 1 equals to E2 sin theta 1, sin theta 2, okay. Now normal component जो होता है वो इक्वल होता है D के लिए, so D1n equals to D2n, okay, so D1n is equals to D2n, so if I write in this way, D1n equals to D2n, तो D1n मतलब epsilon 1 E1 n equals to epsilon 1 epsilon 2 E2n, ठीक है. अब ये क्या है, नॉर्मल कंपोनेंट, सो इट इज cos, सो E1 epsilon 1 E1 cos theta 1 equals to epsilon 2 E2 cos theta 2. Okay. These are the two equations. Okay. Now if I divide equation number 1 by equation number 11 by equation number 12, what you can write? We can write that if E1, if we divide equation number 11 by equation number 12, so we can write E1 sin theta 1 equals to E2 sin theta 2, ठीक है, divided by epsilon 1 E1 cos theta 1, इसको यहाँ से इसके साथ डिवाइड कर रहे हैं, by epsilon 2 E2 cos theta 2. So E2 will be cancelled, E1 will be cancelled. So we can write tan theta 1 by epsilon 1 equals to tan theta 2 by epsilon 2, or tan theta 1 by tan theta 2 equals to epsilon 1 by epsilon 2. Okay, epsilon 1 by epsilon 2. Now epsilon 1 is the permittivity, okay, it is the permittivity of the particular medium. Okay, now permittivity for medium is equals to absolute permittivity multiplied by relative permittivity. Okay, so if I write epsilon 1 as epsilon 0 epsilon naught epsilon r1 and epsilon 2 as epsilon naught epsilon r2, then these two will be get cancelled, okay, isn't it? So we will get only epsilon r1 by epsilon r2. So this is one conclusion, that the ratio of the tan of the two angles, refraction angles, are equals to the ratio of the relative permittivity of the two dielectric medium. This is our conclusion. So this is the law of refraction of the electric field at the boundary of free space, where the surface charge density is 0 assumed at the interface. क्योंकि अगर 0 नहीं होता तो हम लोग ये वाला इक्वेशन लिखे नहीं पाते, ठीक है ना, क्योंकि बिकॉज दिस कंक्लूजन वाज मेड considering that at the interface the normal component of D is 0, because if there is some charge then the subtraction will be rho s, so d1 minus d2 will be equal, not be equal. Okay, once again. Okay, so as I was telling, okay, so this is assume that the normal components are equal because there is no charge at the interface. Okay, so thus in general an interface between two dielectric produces bending of the flux lines as a result of the unequal polarization charges that accumulate of the interface. Okay, that means at the interface the two dielectric are there. Okay, so the fluxes are bending. Okay, so there is some bending of the flux. That means if one particular electric field intensity is coming in this direction, so there will be some bending. Okay, so this is very important, because when any signal is sent from one medium to another medium, so it is observed that what is the property of that medium. Okay, because suppose you are sending one because you are sending one signal from air to the under the sea, so that signal will bend. So how much will it bend, that has to be known, and if it bends then what will happen, because we cannot test it before designing the instrument. We have to design the instrument in such a way that we should have some knowledge, because we should know that what will happen before doing it. By calculation it is done. Okay, because using this theory it is actually understood that what are the boundary conditions. So if one particular electric flux or electric field is being transferred from one dielectric medium to another dielectric medium, so how will it behave, what will be the property. Okay, so that we can understand from these boundary conditions, and how much angle will it refract, that also we can understand from the value of the relative permittivity of the dielectric medium itself, that is using the epsilon r1 and epsilon r2. From them also we can understand that. Okay, so this was all about the dielectric and dielectric boundary conditions. Okay, so next we will discuss about the conductor and dielectric and conductor and free space. So conductor dielectric is quite easier compared to dielectric, because if you have understood dielectric and dielectric boundary conditions, then the rest two will not be very difficult. It will be very easy, because once you have understood this, then these two are very easy to understand. Okay. Now, if you have any question regarding this particular means the second part of this lecture, because the first part was discussed yesterday, do you have any questions regarding this part, which I have shown over here, this Gaussian surface and the conclusion, as well as the refractive index, refraction? अगर कोई क्वेश्चन है तो पूछ सकते हो. Anyone with a question? Okay, I can say Ayush. Ayush, understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, rest. Danish, Khushbu, Manish, rest. कोई डाउट है? Okay, if you are unable to understand or something you have skipped, then you can tell me. Okay, then we will discuss. अच्छा, बाउंड्री कंडीशन समझ में आया ना? बाउंड्री कंडीशंस क्यों कर रहे हैं हम लोग? आयुष, प्लीज रिस्पॉन्ड. बाउंड्री कंडीशन समझ में आया ना? क्यों करते हैं बाउंड्री कंडीशन?
यस सर.
तो मतलब कि अगर एक मीडियम में हम लोग एक इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड को पास करवा रहे हैं और दूसरे मीडियम में एंटर हो रहा है, तो वो एंटर होने से पहले हमको कैलकुलेट करके देखना है कि उसका प्रॉपर्टी कैसा होना चाहिए. तो क्या देखा हमने कि टेंजेंशियल कंपोनेंट जो होता है इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड का वो सेम होता है, और नॉर्मल कंपोनेंट इलेक्ट्रिक फ्लक्स का होता है वो सेम होता है इफ एंड ओनली इफ इन द बाउंड्री देयर इज नो चार्ज. अगर बाउंड्री में चार्ज रहेगा तो उसका दोनों का सब्ट्रैक्शन करके वो सरफेस चार्ज डेंसिटी के साथ इक्वल होगा. Okay, and if the boundary, if at the boundary no charge is there, then we can conclude that normal component of electric flux densities of the two mediums are equal, and from there we can also calculate the angle of refraction, the relationship between the angle of refraction with respect to the relative permittivity of the medium, two mediums or two media. Okay. So then we can conclude our discussion up to here. Since you don't have any problem, then in the next class we will discuss with some new topic, or we can discuss with the topics that are there in the slot test. So the exam is will be starting on Saturday. So अगर कोई नोट्स में प्रॉब्लम है, क्योंकि मैंने गूगल क्लासरूम में शेयर कर दिया है नोट्स बहुत पहले ही, और कहाँ तक पढ़ना है इस स्लॉट के लिए वो भी मैंने बोल दिया है. तो वो तुम लोग प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करो. वो होता है ना, वो ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन फ्रॉम वन कोऑर्डिनेट सिस्टम टू अनदर कोऑर्डिनेट सिस्टम, सो वो वाला सॉल्व करो. ठीक है, बिकॉज इन एमसीक्यूज देयर विल बी सम न्यूमेरिकल्स आल्सो, नॉट ओनली स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड क्वेश्चन. देयर यू हैव टू परफॉर्म सम न्यूमेरिकल आल्सो. So you see those examples from the ebook which I have shared, and also from the notes. Okay, so then thank you. Then you may leave now.